Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And this is the end of the series, part 11 here of the 50 cards to the 1888 Goodwin Champions. The set, the N162 is the designated cards, and it means 19th century cards. So these 1888 Goodwin Champions all have the same back, and we've covered every card in this set. This is the #1 set on the registry. It's not on the registry any longer because I mixed it with some higher grade SGC cards that are higher than some of the PSA cards on the registry. So anyway, these are all the players, and you know, we began with the baseball players, and now we're ending with Myers right at the end here. Myers, the runner, the strongest man in the world, Voss, the Wild West hunter, Buffalo Bill, and the two wrestlers, Joe Acton and Muldoon, William Muldoon. And to me, the beginning of this set with the baseball players, and there's some beautiful cards in between and all that, but the last cards here, one of my top 3 favorite cards is in the last of this set, and some really important people are here. And you know, it starts with Myers, the runner, and we'll take a good look at Myers. And this one here is in a 6. It's the 2nd grade. There's only one graded higher. There's one in a 7. But this is just a beautiful card of Myers. And, you know, there's only one runner in this set. Just like there's only one pool player, even though these were very popular sports. The reason for that is because they dominated. Dioro dominated in pool for so many years, and Myers dominated as the top runner as far as not the long distance like we saw the pedestrians, really the ultra marathoners. This is the short distances. And this guy, Myers, Lon Myers, or Lawrence Eugene Myers. Let me show you a picture of him, what he really looked like, which is really like the card. That's a great drawing. I mean, that's Lon Myers. And you see all the medals that he has there. It's the same virtually picture that they put in the card, just at a different angle. But this guy was, you know, first I'll tell you about him. He was Jewish. He was the first true Jewish star, superstar of America. I mean, or of the world, really of the world. You know, he was born in Virginia, but he was born to a Jewish family. And he grew up basically in New Jersey, in the New York area. And Lawrence Eugene Myers, Lon Myers, was an American sprinter and middle distance runner. He won 28 national championships. He also set world records in 11 different distances and held every American record for races 50 yards to 1 mile. I mean, if you can imagine the domination this guy had, every American record, running record, he held all of them from 50 yards to 1 mile. I mean, you know, it says that he set world records, and I mean, he went on and on and on, and really nobody, you know, it says Myers set a world record while running the, it says, I'm going to just read you something real quick here. Held every American record and set a world quarter-mile record while running the final 120 yards without his right shoe. And finished another race that he won running sideways in conversation with a runner who had boasted that he would defeat Myers. So you can imagine how good this guy was. During his 21-year career, Myers held every American record. Every record. I mean, for 21 years. And he began, you know, and in school, in national championships, and he went on professionally to set records in 11 different distances. So we'll take a good look at Lon Myers, the first real Jewish star athlete. Look at the medals that he has there. I mean, you know, the artwork in these cards are just incredible. I mean, you can see that they're hand done because you see the pixelation in there that can only be done by this hand printing chromolithography, which is really now considered chromolitho, or chrome, what we call chrome, the process. There's his running shoes. And these were printed really on limestone, using limestone blocks, which were sanded down and carved images, and every color was hand laid on there. So Lon Myers, you know, he made good money there. He competed in all the distances, and mainly, you know, he won all the races, and he actually came out of retirement to run against English champion Walter George, who's a younger guy. And George had become a professional also 2 years earlier and challenged Myers. They competed in the middle distance championship of the world in Madison Square Garden. And what they did was they ran 3 races in a row, and then whoever won 2 out of the 3. So Myers beat George at the 1,000 yards and at the 1,320 yards and the 1 mile, and received a $3,000 prize, which was $102,000 in today's terms back in the days. And then later on, following a few years later, Myers again faced George. George challenged him again to the same contest in Australia. Now, Myers was getting old at that time, but he still was an incredible racer, the best racer of all time. You know, he's inducted into the U.S. Track and Field Hall of Fame and into the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And so that other year, it ended up that Myers won the first event and then ended up barely losing the last 2. And Myers did not die of pneumonia on his 41st birthday in New York City. That's where he grew up. So Myers, Lon Myers, the first true world champion Jewish athlete. And he was the best runner at the time. Nobody challenged him in the Track Hall of Fame. His achievements were 15 United States championships, 10 Canadian championships, and 3 British national championships. He had world records at the 250 yards, 350, 400, 440, 500, 600, 660, 800, 840, 880, and 1,000 yards. He held all those world records at the time. At the time, you can imagine one guy, one runner doing all of that. So that's Lon Myers. The next one, this may be a little long video because, again, at the end of this set, they put some people that are kind of random people, but they're not random people at all. These were superstars back in the day. These were the people that really were the ones that started, you know, things like running, like the runners. You know, I mean, people ran from before, but back in the late 1800s is really when it became competitive, and they started, you know, betting and paying money for this stuff. So these guys became true stars. And this guy, Emma Voss, this is really one of the most beautiful cards in the set. And as a Near Mint 7, it's the highest graded example. And the beautiful thing about this card is just the artwork is just incredible. And let's zoom in and take a good look at Emma Voss, the strongest man in the world. Look at the artwork on that. And Emma Voss was a Prussian strongman who began performing with Sinizelli Circus at the age of 20. This guy was just, you know, just a strong guy. And again, a lot of these people, they went around showing their strengths and things like that. because there really wasn't like a strongman competition like there was today, but the things that he did were just beyond normal things. It says, you know, that Voss consistently juggled cannonballs from 16 kilograms to 32 kilograms. He lifted heavy, thick-handled dumbbells. And you can see, I'll show you real quick here. A picture of him actually here. And look at the dumbbells he would lift. I mean, these things were solid iron things. I mean, you know, incredible stuff. It said that he in the circus, he lifted horses. He did a horse lifting via a harness. So they would harness the horse and kind of like in a pulley thing, you know, like they do kind of today, I guess. You would pull, he would pull, and he would lift the horse via a harness. He also did chain breaking through chest expansion. You can see the guy had huge chest, so they put a chain on his chest and he's muscle out and bust the chain. And one of the things that he would do that he was really well known for was that he would place a heavy barbell on his back, you know, holding with his arms. And he invited members of the audience to hang on to it as he walked around the arena with the people hanging onto the barbell. I mean, you know, that stuff like that is incredible. And he inspired, you know, young, he was one of the inspirations for the strongman. And a young Peter Krylov, which was a famous strongman, happened to catch Voss's act and got inspired, and then he kind of helped Peter Krylov get started. But Emil Voss, this is scratch. This is on the. This is a little scratch on the thing. Let's see if I can get that off. So let me show you the strongest man in the world, Emil Voss. So you can see that's on Emil Voss. Check out the hair. Look at the style, the mustache, look at the muscles, man. The artwork on these cars, I mean, look at the muscles. You can almost see the veins on there, popping the muscle. That's like a vest he wore there. And again, these were in the old Gypsy Queen cigarettes. And this is the world's strongest man. Super interesting cards from back in the 1888. So the next one on the list is really, to me, my third, I would say probably my third favorite, in the top three of the favorite cards in this set. And it's the Buffalo Bill, William Cody. This guy is an American legend. William Frederick Cody, known as Buffalo Bill. I could do a whole video on him, but I'm not gonna do that, but I do have to say a lot of things about him. First of all, this card is in a 6. It is the highest graded. There are no other 6s. I think there's 3 6s out there. I've seen them all, and this is the best one. And I think PWCC agreed with that and gave it that little sticker that they give the above average sticker to this beauty. So to me, I consider this the best Buffalo Bill card out there of the 1888 Goodwin Champion. At least the highest graded, and probably the highest eye appeal of the other 6s that are out there. So we'll give you a good look at the Buffalo Bill. I own 3 of these Buffalo Bill cards. I love them so much. I upgraded them, and I just, when I would see a nice one, I would buy them. I own 2 4s and this 6, and one of the 4s is in Ryan. I traded it to him. The other one, I put it up for auction. So Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill was the best shooter ever. You know, I mean, he was in the military first, and that's how he became, you know, famous. And he was again in the cavalry. He got a Medal of Honor in 1872 for his bravery and stuff like that. And then he was such a good shooter that he was hired by the Kansas Pacific Railroad workers. And the contract, well, really not that, it was it was kind of a joint thing between the railroad and the government to make the railroad all the way from the east to the west of the country. And again, the railroad workers had to eat, so they ate buffalo. So that's what they hired people to go out there and get the buffalo. So Cody is reported to have killed 4,282 buffalo in 18 months, from 1867 to 1868. He was the best shooter and the best strategist out there. There was another hunter out there. His name was Bill Comstock, and he was challenging Bill. They were both named Bill, so he was challenging them, and they competed to an 8-hour buffalo shooting match over the exclusive right to use the name, which Cody won, so Buffalo Bill Cody, which he ended up winning the name by killing 68 animals to Comstock's 48. And Comstock was part Cheyenne, so he was a noted hunter and scout and interpreter. He helped out a lot with the Indians and stuff because he was part Indian, and he was known to be one of the best shooters. And Comstock had a better rifle. He was using a fast-shooting Henry repeating rifle, while Cody competed with a Springfield model 1866, which he called Lucretia Borgia, after a notorious Italian nobleman. So anyway, Cody explained that while his opponent was very formidable. Let's take a look at this. It's a great story. Go ahead and take it. Let me just read this story exactly how it says. It's just a great story here. So it says, Cody likened his strategy to a billiards player nursing his billiard balls during a big run. First rode his horse to be the front of the herd to target the leaders, forcing the followers to one side, eventually causing him to circle and create an easy target and dropping them close together. So Comstock chased after his buffalo, engaging from the rear of the herd and leaving a trail of killed buffalo scattered over a distance of 3 miles. So Cody not only was smart, but he was a good shooter, and he beat him 68 to 48, and he earned the name Buffalo Bill. After all that, he decided to do the Buffalo Bill's Wild West. And it wasn't called the Wild West Show. It was just called Buffalo Bill's Wild West. And let's take a good look at Buffalo Bill, champion of the Wild West hunters. And look at him there with his long hair. Look at that. That's his coat. Look at his belt. He's got like a shirt there, like a handmade shirt. There's his gun, or his whip. He's got his whip there. His leather. Just a cool picture. It looks like he's by the water there. Just a cool picture of Buffalo Bill. Really what I feel is the best card of Buffalo Bill. So he started the Wild West, Buffalo Bill's Wild West, where he did all these different things, and for years he went out and with Annie Oakley and many other the big shooters and did all that, and he even became friends with the Indians. And here's a picture of Buffalo Bill just a few years before this card was done. Buffalo Bill with Sitting Bull in 1885, and this card is from 1888. So anyway, just wanted to share a little bit of Buffalo Bill, one of the most beautiful cards from this set, in a 6, which is the highest grade, and there's the back. So one of my favorite cards from this set. The last 2 cards of the set are the the wrestlers. And these are also cool cards because, like similar to the boxers, the wrestlers, you know, also had a long history and a lot of, you know, just a lot of history. And this is Joseph Acton. And Joseph Acton was known as Little Joe or Limey Joe, and he was a British wrestler. And during the late 19th century, Acton was one of the handful of wrestlers that was credited with introducing, yes, these were all legends, introducing the catch-as-you-can style of wrestling, known today as the freestyle wrestling. So he invented what's known today as freestyle wrestling. And he was the best known, the best wrestler at that time. You know, not only did he invent the style, but he became one of the best, you know, during that day. He challenged all of the wrestlers. He toured the United States, facing several prominent wrestlers, including Edwin Bibby, Clarence Whistler, Matsaki Rikichi, and you know, many others, Tom Cannon. But eventually, you know, he was the champion until he ended up losing to Evan Lewis, Evan Strangler Lewis, in one of the biggest matches of the decade. But Joe Acton ended up wrestling until the age of 59. He was 59 years old and he still was wrestling. And he invented the freestyle wrestling where they catch as you can. There's the ring, there's his award back there. That's how they wrestled in that little bathing suit style thing. And their shoes were kind of funky. But this is the Joe Acton in a 5. I think this is the highest graded. You know, and some of these cards, I told you some of them, the highest graded are 5s or 6s and stuff. Let me tell you real quick. There is 1 6 in the Joe Acton card, and there are about 22 graded. In the Buffalo Bill, there's about 40 graded, and there's 3 6s, and I just showed you the best 6 that's out there. And the other cards that I showed were the Myers. That's one of the rarest cards in the set. And I'm surprised that there aren't that many found because of the Jewish, there's only 13 Myers, highest is a 7. So, but anyway, going back to the Joe Acton, he was, again, he's in the professional wrestling, they're all in the Hall of Fame. He was the catch as can champion. He was the European catch as can champion, and he was the world catch as can champion. He also was the collar and elbow wrestling champion, and he's in the American heavyweight. He was the American heavyweight champion. So this is Joe Acton, wrestler. Give you one more look at Joe Acton, and then we'll move on to the last card in the set, which happens to be another wrestler, Muldoon. Muldoon has even more interesting background. The last card in this set, William Muldoon. Now, I've got the highest graded in PSA is a 6. I've got a 5.5, and I've got a 5, and then I got the highest graded in the SGC. So I got 3 of the Muldoons. So the 5 will probably be used for trade soon. But anyway, let's take a look at the Muldoon card. Let's take a good look at the Muldoon here. We'll go with this one here. We'll go with the 5. They're all the same. This one has a little bit of a print mark on there, as you can see. Still a beauty. And this one is the 6. A little bit off-centered. And this is the 5. So Muldoon, let's take a look at Muldoon. Let's talk about Muldoon. I think this one's just a bit better centered. Not as registered as the other ones. Because you can see also, like in the old days, these have better registration in color. This one really has the best registration in color, in my opinion. So let's talk about Muldoon. He was an American Greco-Roman wrestling champion. and he was the first chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission. He once wrestled a match that lasted over 7 hours. This guy was a beast. He was known as the Solid Man, and he established himself as the champion in Greco-Roman wrestling, which is a little different, than the other ones. He was really the champion. He was in New York, Allegheny County. He did a lot of things, and he gained a reputation for being just a strong man and young boy as an athlete. He did things that he was a standout in caber tossing, weightlifting, sprinting, and amateur wrestling. And he went on to fight in the war, and a lot of these guys really did that. But living in New York City, he became he worked for the police department, and he worked for on behest of Senator John Morrissey, who was a bare knuckles boxing champion at the time. So he became, he gained recognition when he won the World Greco-Roman Heavyweight Championship, and he beat people like Edwin Bibby, Tom Cannon, Donald Denny, and guys like that. He was a different style than what I just showed you earlier with Acton, which was catch as you can, which is kind of the freestyle type wrestling. He was more of the, down wrestling down there, So, but the interesting thing about him is a year after this card came out, after Muldoon came out, Muldoon was a good friend of John L. Sullivan. And he ended up, training, wrestling, and weight training with John L. Sullivan. And eventually he kind of wrestled with John L. Sullivan, got his strength up, and became, in 1889, he became his trainer. So he became John L. Sullivan's trainer. And it says that, Sullivan won, a few, championship after that, because he was kind of getting older. And it says, Muldoon gained national notice for restoring the boxing champion to fighting form. Muldoon's methods for accomplishing Sullivan's renovation drew much public interest. So he ended up being one of the first trainers, real trainers. It said Muldoon and Sullivan would have an exhibition wrestling bout contested under different rules. And so they did, wrestling bouts, exhibition. It says Muldoon was never defeated. He went undefeated basically throughout his career. And then later went on to train and went on with John L. Sullivan. But Muldoon became one of the first trainers, little trainers with different training styles. And video's getting long, so I can't talk a lot about that. But, that's the thing with Muldoon. Again, one of the strong guys back in the day. So these are the different Muldoon cards that I have. Give a good look at each one of them. Another one of the great wrestlers of the day, William Muldoon. So that's Muldoon. So anyway, guys, that is the end of my series. Let's go ahead and get everybody back in the picture here. Give you a good look at all the guys. The two wrestlers. Only two wrestlers in this set. One of them was the, again, I keep forgetting what they're called, but the Greco-Roman wrestling champion, the catch if you can wrestling champion. And I didn't talk about the Muldoon. The Muldoon, the highest grade, it is a 6, and there are about 33 cards total graded. One of my favorite cards, the Buffalo Bill card, the Strongest Man in the World card, just another beauty. And the first one that I showed, oh, I have another Joe Acton card. Let me share this Joe Acton. I forgot that one. That's the one I was showing the back with. So I do have Joe Acton at 6, which is the highest graded. Give you another look at this Joe Acton here. without the glare. So that's the Joe Acton. So I have two Joe Actons and a 5 and a 6. So that's the highest graded, and this is the second highest graded. So that is the last 5 cards to the 1888 Goodwin Champions set. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching it. I've done some individual videos of some of these guys. So if you want to go back and check some of the history of my videos, I did some, you know, really cool stuff. Like I did a whole video for Dioro and from Isaac Murphy. And the one that I did with Dioro, the pool guy, I had his great granddaughter contact me, and that's just real cool. Talked a little bit about that she donated his equipment and I was unable to find it, or her mother donated the equipment to a museum and they lost it, and some of the memorabilia, but interesting stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this series. I hope you love this set as much as I do. It's just my favorite set. I had to just share it with each one of you. So again, this is one of my top 3 favorites, is this Buffalo Bill. Talon Myers, man. People need to understand that this guy was the top runner. Nobody challenged him ever, really. The strongest man, created the strongman competition, really was recognized as the first strong man, the strongest man in the world. And then you got Joe Acton, the one who invented the freestyle wrestling that we see today. And he was the champion of that. And then you got Muldoon, the first Greco-Roman wrestling champion, and really the first trainer, or one that really got serious about doing weight training and training for athletes, and was the first trainer and manager for John L. Sullivan. So great history. Hope you enjoy it. Have an awesome day. It's Orlando from A Collector Dream, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please like and subscribe.